city that began as a cluster of huts on the banks of the Tiber River and grew into the greatest empire the world had ever seen. Its legacy shaped modern law, language, architecture, and warfare. But behind the grandeur lay a history of ruthless ambition, political intrigue, and devastating betrayal. This is the epic story of Rome, known at its rise, its triumphs, and its ultimate collapse. It all begins with a myth. According to legend, Rome was founded in 753 BCE by Romulus and Remus, twin brothers raised by a she-wolf. Their story was one of fate and fratricide. Romulus killed his brother in a dispute and became the first king of Rome. But even from its very foundation, Rome was a city built on conflict. For over 2 centuries, Rome was ruled by kings, but it was the last of them, Tarquin the Proud, who sealed the monarchy's fate. His cruelty and the scandalous crime of his son led to a rebellion. In 509 BCE, the Romans overthrew their king and declared a republic, a new system where power rested with the Senate and elected officials, at least in theory. In reality, power belonged to a few wealthy families, the patricians, while the majority, the plebeians, had little say. Tensions ran high, and over time, the plebeians fought for their rights, securing written laws and political representation. But even as Rome's government evolved, its hunger for conquest never wavered. By the 3rd century BCE, Rome was locked in a struggle with its greatest rival, Carthage. The Punic Wars raged for over a century, bringing legendary figures like Hannibal, who marched war elephants across the Alps to strike at the heart of Italy. But Rome endured. In 146 BCE, it crushed Carthage, razing the city to the ground and claiming dominance over the Mediterranean. With each victory, Rome grew wealthier and more powerful. But with that power came corruption. The Senate, once the guardian of the Republic, became a battlefield for ambitious generals and politicians. One man in particular would change Rome forever: Julius Caesar. A brilliant military commander, Caesar expanded Rome's borders and won the loyalty of his soldiers. But his growing influence made him a threat to the Senate. In 49 BCE, he defied orders, crossing the Rubicon River with his army, sparking a civil war. The Senate's champion Pompey fled and was ultimately assassinated in Egypt. Caesar emerged victorious. In Rome, the people adored him. He granted citizenship, reformed the calendar, and rebuilt the city. But his ambitions were too great. In 44 BCE, he declared himself dictator for life. For the Senate, this was a step too far. On the Ides of March, a group of senators, including his friend Brutus, stabbed him to death. They believed they had saved the Republic. Instead, they had sealed its doom. Chaos followed. Caesar's adopted heir, Octavian, and his ally, Mark Antony, waged war against the conspirators. But soon, they turned on each other. Antony's alliance with Cleopatra of Egypt ended in disaster. Octavian crushed them both at the Battle of Actium in 31 BCE. Mark Antony and Cleopatra took their own lives, and Rome stood on the brink of a new era. Octavian, now known as Augustus, became Rome's first emperor in 27 BCE. He maintained the illusion of the Republic, but true power was his alone. His reign brought peace and stability, the Pax Romana, a golden age of prosperity, trade, and magnificent architecture. But this peace came at a price: the slow erosion of the Republic's ideals. As emperors came and went, some ruled wisely, while others descended into madness. Caligula, who declared himself a living god. Nero, who allegedly played music while Rome burned. Commodus, who fancied himself a gladiator. Each signaled a growing decay at the empire's core. By the 3rd century CE, Rome was in crisis. Civil wars, economic decline, and barbarian invasions stretched its resources thin. Emperor Diocletian attempted to stabilize Rome by splitting the empire in two, ruling the east while his co-emperor controlled the west. But this division only delayed the inevitable. Then came Constantine. He reunified the empire, moved its capital to Byzantium, renamed Constantinople, and embraced Christianity. But Rome itself was no longer the heart of the empire, and in 476 CE, the Western Roman Empire fell. The once mighty city was sacked by barbarian forces, marking the end of an era. Yet Rome never truly vanished. Its laws, its engineering, its culture, and even its language live on in modern civilization. The empire fell, but its legacy endures. The story of Rome is one of power, betrayal, and collapse, a reminder that even the greatest empires are not eternal. So, what do you think? Was Rome's downfall inevitable, or could it have been saved? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this journey through history, don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories of the past.